What it do is good, YouTube. If you don't know, you gon' know. It's your boy Zay, man. I'm back here with another motherfucking reaction video. Bruh. Yes, I got my shirt off. Nigga, I just did a workout. I'm feeling hot diesel in this bitch. So yes, I'm reacting with my shirt off. Come on, man. Go to the gym. I was playing. I barely be going to the gym, but I'm getting back into it though. You know what I'm saying? How y'all feeling today though? Y'all good? Y'all good? I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Today, bro, I've been waiting to watch this video for so long, but I had to react to it, bro. I couldn't watch it regular. I'll be watching these court cases and stuff on regular time, but this one I had to bring to the channel, bro. You know what I'm saying? The title of this is Teen Executed His Family Over Sleepover with His Girlfriend, bro. What? Like, how does that even that doesn't even sound right even saying. Like, I'm so confused. I'm ready to see what this case is all about, why he did what he did. Like, feel me? Cuz why would you execute your family over sleeping over with your girl? Like, is it that deep? Like, was they telling you no, so you just like spaz and said I'm killing everybody? Like, how does that even come about, bro? People really be crazy in the head, bro. That's something I realized. But this video is 22 minutes long. I ain't gonna waste none of y'all more of y'all time. Before we get into the video though, like, comment, share, subscribe. Comment what you want me to react to next. Follow me on Instagram at isdazay03 and subscribe to my main channel, Who Is ATV. Let's get to the video.
No physical evidence tying Raymond Childs III to those weapons. No fingerprints, no DNA.
He shot his brother once in the back of the head as he was watching television. Next to Elijah in bed was Elijah's girlfriend, Kiara Hawkins. The defendant shot her once through her right ear.
Is she crash out material? Oh shit. She might have had some little fire. Nigga, you know, nigga get the crashing out when that shit fire, you know what I mean? R.I.P. though. R.I.P. My condolences go out to the family. What's left of the family, I guess, because he said he killed his whole family. So what's left of the family, my condolences go out to you. You know what I'm saying? This is not a funny matter or act. You know what I'm saying? So.
His girlfriend, Kiara Hawkins. The defendant shot her once through her right ear.
A teenager killed nearly his entire family, all because he left home without permission. An Indiana jury has just convicted now 21-year-old Raymond Childs III of murdering 6 people, including a
So you killed 6 people because you wanted to sneak out? And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't get caught. No, I didn't get caught sneaking out. But I got caught with somebody in the house. And not once did I think I was gonna ever kill nobody, bro. Like, you're insane, dude.
A woman who was nearly due to give birth amid what prosecutors allege was an argument that turned deadly. We're going to sit down with criminal defense attorney Bob Bianchi to get to the bottom of this case and look ahead to the sentencing. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. A jury deliberated for just about 3 hours before convicting 21-year-old Indiana man Raymond Childs III of 6 counts of murder in the brutal slaying of his own family members.
Bro, 6 counts of murder at one time? Yeah. You're going to be going for a long time, buddy. I'm going to be honest with you, gang. It's not looking too bright for you, man. I don't know what made you get into that type of... Bro, do y'all believe in demons, bro? Because I just don't even know how you could even take out even one of your family members. You took out 6, including your girlfriend, bro. Like, how does love drive you to a point where you kill him? That shit don't make no sense to me, bro.
His conviction came months after a judge declared a mistrial the first time around, after a witness in his first trial verbally confronted him in front of the jury. So the 21-year-old, he was arrested a day after this horrific crime back in January of 2021, where he fatally shot his father, Raymond Childs Jr., his stepmother, Tezzy, the couple's daughter, Rita, son, Elijah, and Elijah's 19-year-old girlfriend, Kiara Hawkins, who was pregnant. She was just about to give birth.
Your pregnant girlfriend? Yo, gang. So, I mean, you killed your baby, too. Oh, my. I can't, bro. And you just about to be sitting in one spot with men your whole life now, nigga. You never gonna get to have a kid. You never gonna get this girl again. Bro, you're never gonna see it, bro. This, you gotta think about shit before you crash out, bro. Seriously. Seriously, bro.
One lone survivor of this absolutely heinous attack, and that was Child's 15-year-old brother, who in court documents is referenced only by the initials XC. He was shot, but he was able to flee the house and escape the gunfire.
So you shot 7 people. Yeah, gang.
According
7
to the
family
probable
members.
cause affidavit obtained by Law and Crime, XC told police what happened when he was rushed to the hospital. When XC was asked who shot him, he stated Raymond Ronald Lee Childs III. And it actually gets more heartbreaking from there, because when he's asked about his parents, this is what he says. When medical staff spoke with XC about locating his parents so that they could provide further medical care, XC stated, he shot them, I think they're dead. And XC was just 15 years old. But he's not only just a lone...
Bro. Imagine. Can y'all, like, please? Like, I came to I forgot. But I can't, bro. I'm very good at putting myself in the people's shoes, if that makes sense. So please just try to put yourself in this 15-year-old shoes where he just saw his brother, or either saw or heard his brother shoot and kill his mom and dad at 15, bro. You can't imagine no shit like that, bro.
Survivor of this attack, but he is a key
and he has to live through the rest of his life
information to police and prosecutors
this scar,
about
like,
the brutality that had occurred. We'll get back to that in a second.
Not regular,
I
bro.
have to address what's the lingering question here. I'm sure all of you have. Why? What could have possibly led Childs to literally execute almost his entire family?
Let me know.
Apparently,
And then
it was due to a spat over whether he could stay the night at his girlfriend's home.
No, you can't go over there tonight. Nigga, what? Like, Eric, and I'm pretty sure all of them didn't have a so wait, why did he kill a girlfriend? Bro, I'm so confused, gang. This shit is not adding up to me. And he did that knowing that he was going to live the rest of his life, knowing that he just did that shit. Bro, do niggas think? I'm going to stop pausing too, by the way. My fault.
Left his family's home without permission to stay at his girlfriend's house. And according to the probable cause affidavit, it reads, J.D., this is Child's girlfriend, stated that on January 23rd, 2021, Childs III came over to her house to spend the night. While he was there, he got a phone call from his dad telling him to come home. J.D. stated that sometime between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning on January 24th, Childs III drove back over to the house in a white Chrysler. Childs III stated that his father had kicked him out. But we know that version of events is not true, because Childs had actually gone home to kill his family before coming back to his girlfriend's house. To be clear, she didn't know about this when he came back, but a surprising phone alert would soon raise some suspicions for her.
I'm sorry. This is the last pause. So you telling me he was at the girl house? Nigga said, come home. It's 2 a.m. Come home. Regular shit. He goes home, but he kills all of them when his dad was the one to call. He kills 3-4 other people, and then goes back to his girlfriend's house like nothing happened. And she didn't know it. This shit is insane.
Why? It says, the probable cause affidavit, about 30 minutes after Childs III arrived back at JD's home, JD received an alert on her Citizens app that there had been a shooting on 36th Street. Soon after, there was another alert regarding a shooting on Adams Street, and this is where the family lived. JD asked Childs III if he knew anything about the shooting, and he said no. Now, if this isn't enough evidence so far that something terribly wrong had occurred, there is yet another suspicious situation that arises, this time when JD drives Childs to a different residence in her Chevy Impala following the sleepover. Listen to this part of the affidavit about the evidence that Childs actually left behind, wrapped in a bundle of clothes. Quote, when they left, Childs III placed the clothes by his feet in JD's car. When they got to where Childs III wanted to go, he took the clothes with him. Shortly after JD pulled off, she hit the brakes and saw a magazine clip, meaning a firearm magazine clip, fly forward on the passenger's floorboard of her Impala. Detectives, they obtained a search warrant on the girlfriend's vehicle. They did indeed recover this magazine clip that you can see right there. And detectives,
them ain't no little, them ain't no pistol bullets. He shot bro, I'm sorry, bro. This shit is just blowing my mind. So this is the whole next day. And he went to sleep and everything and went back like nothing happened and just went along with his life, knowing that he just killed his father, his stepmother, and his siblings. Not with a pistol. That's not no pistol mag, dude. That's a banana. Oh no.
tracked down Childs, arrested him after taking him to their homicide office.
This nigga a real killer though, I ain't gonna lie.
The Childs' younger brother, 15-year-old XC, would prove to
He's
be
a real
very
killer.
vital witness. But a few days after this
Killed his
incident,
family and
detectives
act like
talked
ain't
with
nothing
him
happened.
more at the hospital, and he told them the exact timeline of the shooting as he saw it from inside that home. Quote, XE told them that before the shooting, his father had asked him to put some water in a bottle, so he went to the bathroom to fill it. At that point, he heard 2 gunshots. His father got out of bed, ran to the stairs, and said, "What was that?" He then heard his sister RC say, "Raymond shot Elijah." Another gunshot went off, and he heard his dad say, "I'm sorry, Raymond, I love you." Wow. Now, XC was still inside the bathroom.
Wait. His dad said, "I'm sorry, Raymond, I love you," before the nigga shot him.
"Sorry, Raymond, I love you." Wow. Now, XC was still inside the bathroom, makes his escape at this point, but Childs chases him outside. He even offered his older brother money to not kill him, promised he wouldn't say anything, but Childs shoots him in the leg, shoots him again in the arm. And XC was somehow able to make it into a neighbor's home until police arrived, and he was rushed to the hospital. He made a miraculous recovery despite being quite serious critical condition. And as for the firearm in this case, there were actually 2 that were used. Police were able to recover one in the basement of the family's home, and the other they were able to retrieve after they received a call from a person who actually picked up Childs after the murder. He apparently told police when Childs III got into the truck, he was armed
I
with
knew it was a Drake. I knew it was gonna be a Drake, bruh. I knew it. I knew it was gonna be a Drake, man. I'm 7'6".
Firearm that AV recognized as belonging to Raymond Childs
5.6
Jr.
is a 7.6
AV told Childs III to give him the gun because AV had a permit to carry the firearm, and Childs III complied. This witness, known as AV, then handed that weapon over to police. And you can see it pictured there. Police were able to match
7.6 tools. I knew, bro. These from close range, dog, bro. Y'all should already know, bro. And they loud as shit. Like, they loud as fuck.
Shell casings found at the scene to the weapon, and the other casings were matched to the 9mm handgun that was found in the basement.
Dang.
So with all that in mind, now we have a guilty verdict. I want to bring in a special guest to break all of this down. Criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, friend of the show, Bob Bianchi. Bob, thank you so much for coming on. It's really, really good to see you. What are just your initial impressions and thoughts on a case like this?
Hey, Jesse, thanks for having me on. Love the show, love the format, and of course, always love working with you. I think that when you get to be my age and you've been doing homicide work as a trial lawyer, both as an assistant prosecutor when I first started my career, now advancing some decades later and having done it on the defense side, the thing when I was reading this that struck me was the senselessness with the murder cases that we see today. And this one is probably about as senseless a murder case than I've ever either handled or reviewed. And what I mean by that is when I was in the homicide squad when I first started out, we would kind of like case compare and we would say, "Oh, this case is really crazy," or "This one's got some, something interesting element to it." I know that sounds kind of macabre, but this is what you do when you're handling murder after murder after murder. But the thing was, back then, what strikes me now is that there was always something where the motive made sense. You may not agree
Feel
with
me?
it, but whether it was money or drugs or gang violence,
Feel me? Usually it's like a motive, like a reasoning behind. Okay, this is why I did this. Da da da. This literally has no killing of the whole family. Has no like for telling you to come home from your pregnant girlfriend not sleeping over. So wait, when did he kill the girlfriend then? But yeah, though the motive seems very, very like it don't make sense. Like
infidelity, you could put your arms around the reason why the person did the thing that they did, despite how horrific. I handled one where they poured gasoline on a pregnant woman and lit her on fire. So the murder itself is horrible, but you understood the underpinnings.
Excuse me?
Today, when you see something like this, it just seems to me that there's a massive desensitization of individuals. There's no bar in terms of the conduct, and to me, it's almost like an automaticity. It's like I'm angry, and I'm going to lash out in as big a way as I can. Now, I think it's actually reflective of a social decay, a breakdown in the mores, if you will, of society, mental health issues that aren't being addressed. Because it's very difficult for me as a seasoned homicide prosecutor and defense lawyer to look at the calmness of this conduct. One of the things we look at as a homicide prosecutor, because we're worried about mental health defenses coming in, like passion provocation or something that minimizes it from murder and lowers it, maybe an insanity defense, is we look at goal-oriented behavior. And that's what psychologists will look at. What was occurring just before, obviously during, and after, to see whether or not the person was acting with purpose, with intention. And you see that throughout all this. There's purpose and there's intention, but the gravity and the response to the stimuli, if you will, that is his father telling Ken sleep with his girlfriend, created the unfathomable. So that was my initial impression. Sorry for the long thing, but you read something like this, and my big thing was, as a defense lawyer, I got to get this guy over to a psychologist as quickly as possible to see if I can establish a psychiatric defense.
What struck me is these appeals to his emotion. His father saying, "Raymond, I love you." His younger brother saying, "Please don't shoot me, don't."
And it seems like this nigga has no emotion at all. That's why I called him a real killer. Like you're a real killer if you kill somebody, but you're not a killer. Like no, it's a difference, bro. Let me put it like this: it's a difference between a hooper and a nigga that hoop. It's a difference between a killer and a nigga that kills somebody. This nigga is a killer. A killer.
Me, I won't say anything, and he just continued through. It's such a chilling thing to think about anybody doing this to another human being, but doing this to your own family members, no mercy whatsoever. That's what really, is so chilling and sticks with me. I did want you to put on your prosecutor's hat for a second, because we talked about some of the evidence. What did you think were some of the strongest pieces of evidence that the prosecution had on him?
Oh, well, I guess I can answer that by looking at it as a defense lawyer. Like, as a prosecutor, what I say to myself is, and it's kind of like backwards, like, what is the defense going to do? All right, how is the defense going to try to make an argument here? And so I'm evaluating it from both perspectives. When I was looking at this case, I was thinking to myself, where is the defense going to go with this case? And as a prosecutor, I think that there's very little that I would be concerned with, because I think when you ask what is the most significant piece of evidence, I don't think there's a particular piece of evidence, but I think it gets to something that you just talked about. The chilling nature of the reaction to such a low stimuli is something that I think is the most powerful concept for the prosecutor in the case. So it's very difficult I've had cases where the person was completely mentally incapacitated, had no idea what it was that they were doing. They've got a long history of psychiatric issues. They decompensate off their medications and basically could not form an intent to kill. Here, the intent to kill is so clear. His flight afterwards is so clear. The evidence against him, the statements by his own family members begging for the money not to to kill him, the statements made by the father, the girlfriend, and the evidence. The case was very, very solid. It's one of those where the defense attorney, I think, looks at.
And my thing is too, bro. If his little brother ain't never survived, we wouldn't even have known all the details. Like, we would have thought something was probably missing from the story, or like, you know what I'm saying. We wouldn't have knew that his dad said, "I'm sorry, I love you," right before he killed the nigga. Like, it's a lot that I mean, it would be some missing pieces. I wouldn't say it's a lot, but it's some missing pieces in that. Like, some big missing pieces. But my question is still about the girlfriend. Like, am I tripping? Did they say something about the girl? Last time they said something was when they dropped her off in the car. Like, and the clip was
Says, listen, this is the one I brought to the dance. I got to do my best to see if the government can prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt, but I don't think the defense was under any illusion other than this was going to be a conviction and a life sentence for this individual.
So the defense was, my understanding, faulty investigation. There was a misidentification, and that, well, if you have two guns, there were two shooters. There was something more nefarious. And I guess also the defense, I don't know this for sure, but I wonder if they also played up the fact, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really believe a teenager, because he was a teenager at the time, would have gunned down his entire family in this fashion? Or does it make sense that this was,
it don't make sense, but the nigga did it.
So the faulty investigation, misidentification, two shooters. The jury didn't buy it, though.
Yeah, they didn't buy it, and they came back with a verdict in 3 hours. So, I mean, they didn't buy it quickly. But listen, I mean, this is an argument that a defense attorney can make. I'm a big fan of defense lawyers making arguments about an investigation that was not complete. I think that this is a big problem in our country. I see it all the time, and as a former prosecutor, in fact, I'm dealing with it right now, some of the failure to properly investigate and not dot I's and cross T's. Jesse, listen.
Michael Drake
at the scene.
Won't come out my hand.
There when the call comes in fresh from 911 that there's been a homicide. And I have watched people literally jump to conclusions in a heartbeat before they've gotten all of the evidence. And it's when you have this confirmation bias that starts to set in and they start getting sloppy with the investigation that things get missed. And there are many times, Jesse, that when I was in the power and I had the authority as the head prosecutor to reverse things, stop things, or do it, I would tell people to slow down. There were cases that we had where people jumped to the conclusion it was a medical event, a suicide, but yet it turned out to be a murder. And there have been times where they thought that there are many people that had no idea how close they came to having handcuffs put on them because investigators jumped to conclusions that later turned out not to be accurate. So I know that this is a big global question, but for me, a defense lawyer attacking a prosecution's sloppy investigation, not only do you do it in that case, but it benefits everyone across the country.
Let me ask you this point about, there was a challenge for the prosecution here.
I wonder how many times he shot each one, and I still want to know about the girlfriend, bro. Like, what's going on?
Second trial. The first one ended in a mistrial because a prosecution witness confronted Childs on the stand. In fact, one jury member even said they can't remain impartial after what had happened, so a judge had to declare a mistrial. That's nothing that the prosecutor never wants to hear that, and it feels like there's a lot of pressure for the second time around. No?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you never, as a prosecutor, want to try the same case twice. It's like that proverb that they say: a person who steps in the river never steps in the same river and is never the same person. It's true. As time goes by and as more transcripts get created and as more times witnesses are exposing themselves to cross-examination or just the sheer nature of having to re-subpoena a case and redo a case always inures to the detriment of the prosecutor. So I was always a fan of saying, I think that you may know this from coverage that we've done together on certain trials, is that I lament these prosecutors who are sloppy. That's not what we're talking about here. But in any event, cause a reversal of the case and it has to be retried again because it never gets better for the prosecution on the second round. So when you have a witness that does something that occurred here, which caused a mistrial, or I've seen in my cases juror misconduct, and you got to try it again, you take a big sigh. I mean, you go into the game, but you don't like it. You're scarred when that happens.
I want to ask you about sentencing. So he wasn't just convicted of murder, which I believe under that state law, each count can carry 40 to 65 years in prison. But he was also convicted of attempted murder, so that's, I believe, 20 to 40 years in prison, and then a misdemeanor charge for carrying a gun without a license. Will this 21-year-old ever step out of prison again?
Why the fuck would you ever ask some shit like that, bro? You already know the answer, dude. Niggas get life for shooting one nigga. Killing one nigga. He has 6 counts. Plus an attempt. Are you insane? He might not see his next 4 lives. 5 lives. Are you kidding me, dude? That nigga. Come on, man. I still don't know what happened to the girlfriend, though.
Well, Jesse, that's a big question too. A very good one. I don't think
That
so.
ain't no damn good question. We all know the answer here.
But I am watching more and more as time goes by and disagree with the idea that we have, based on quote unquote science, indicated that people under the age of 26's brains are not formed properly, and therefore we should give them a break on sentencing. And these arguments have been successful in many places. But I think the gravity of this particular offense and the number of victims screams out for an individual that serves at least the longest aspect that state allows with respect to parole and eligibility. But you can be assured at some point in time, lawyers are going to be arguing that his youth, his inability to form mature thoughts or whatever should warrant a less sentence.
That shit ain't gonna do that much, bro.
Who were an adult that committed the same kind of conduct. But I think that the nature of this offense and the amount of victims is going to cause the judge to give the maximum sentence possible, and parole is likely, is likely to give him as much as they can. And look, a lot of this also
and my thing is too, in jail, well, I watched enough 60 Days In, you know what I'm saying? But in jail, they ask you what you in there for. So is he gonna tell everybody that ask him what he's in there for? Is he just gonna say murder? 6 counts of murder? Or are you gonna say I murdered my family because my dad told me to come home for my girlfriend? And I feel like people not gonna respect that shit, bruh. Ain't nobody gonna respect you for killing your family, bruh. Some people wish they had a father in their life. And you gonna tell them that you killed your father?
With parole on how the family responds to this down the road. I'm going to presume, based on what I've read, that the family, especially the pregnant woman, I mean, this is about as bad as you get, right? That family is very active here, and they're gonna squawk, and a lot of times the squeaky wheel gets.
Wait, so was the pregnant woman his girlfriend or no? I think I might have heard that wrong. The pregnant woman might not have been his girlfriend.
The parole here.
So it was, cause that's what he said in the beginning. But at what point did he shoot her? Like,
the detriment of the defendant's early release.
I was struggling with what the defense could say at sentencing, whether even the defendant makes a statement, what his attorneys would say, whether they call any, family members, or friends, or I don't know who to provide some sort of recommendation to the judge about what sentencing should be, because I also wonder whether or not the judge would just sentence this man to consecutive sentences, one after the other for each one of the victims, as opposed to concurrent, all of them together. So again, just trying to preview what we might expect there.
Right. A lot of big questions there. Now, obviously, as a defense lawyer, you want to try to bring out that although it may not be a self-defense, a legal self-defense, but that there's a mental health issue. Judge, it's apparent by the facts themselves. If you cannot understand the gravity of what he did, it's because of a mental health issue. And again, it might not rise to the level of a defense, but it can mitigate the sentence that the judge is going to give in the case. As far as consecutive sentencing or concurrent sentencing, there's always a contradiction in the law. One side says there are no such thing as free crimes, and each victim warrants a consecutive sentence. And yet, there are other areas of the law that says a single episodic event close in time where multiple crimes are committed may warrant a concurrent sentence. Based on my training and experience, the cases that I've seen, and the gravity of this case, I really find it next to impossible to believe the judge will give anything other than a consecutive sentence in this case.
By the way, Bob, you are also a certified EMT, right?
That's correct.
So what was this other aspect about the story that I think is just incredibly harrowing is when you talk about the surviving brother, in this case, XC, that he was shot in both his leg and his arm, yet he's able to get up, go to the neighbor's home, manages to stay alive long enough to make it to a hospital, becomes a key witness in this case. Talk to me about how is that even possible?
You know, Jesse, it's a mystery. I've come on the scene of catastrophic shootings and things of that in my capacity as an emergency medical technician, where there are injuries to an individual that defy how this person is alive. And you marvel at it. And yet I've seen some situations in which a minor thing causes somebody to die. You know, when we go out on the rig, we say this all the time, and the call comes in, you never really know until you get there what you're going to be looking at. And I look at it from the standpoint of the EMTs that had to respond to an event like this, because you have to understand there had to be a massive law enforcement response and a massive EMS response. And when that happens in a mass casualty incident like this, you're going to all these different...
EMT had to pull out 6 bodies, bro, from one house. 5, 6 bodies in one house, man.
People and doing the best to triage them. And if there's individuals that you think can be saved, sometimes you have to make really catastrophic decisions that will stick with you for your life, because you may leave somebody behind that's still alive, but you don't think that they're going to be saved by the time they get to the hospital, and choose the person who's most likely to be saved. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. It's a situation we hate to be in. But in this particular case, from a legal point of view, we marvel at it, and prosecutors are thankful that that witness is there, because that witness is a key person to the case. And as an EMT, we look at it and say, wow, another guy who suffered a shooting and actually survived. And there's a lot more than you think. In the 30 years I've been doing EMS work, more people than you can imagine get involved in shootings and are saved now than there were a couple decades ago.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing. I mean, honestly, it is just heartbreaking to think about what this, then 15-year-old had to go through, experience losing his whole family, having to survive that attack. His brother is the one who did it, and then have to testify about it, and then have to explain what happened. Look, it's a miracle he survived.
Gonna be on his mom for the rest of his life.
And our hearts go out to the family members who lost these loved ones. Just such a sad case. And Raymond Childs III, he is scheduled to be sentenced on January 7th, so we'll see which way the judge goes.
January 7th?
Bob Bianchi, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you taking...
I ain't gonna lie, I might have to do an update to that when January 7th come around, you know what I'm saying? He's obviously gonna get a hefty sentence. Let me know what y'all think of this video, though, bro. I still don't... They didn't explain how the girlfriend was involved or how she got killed or whatever. I don't think, I missed it. And I wanna know, but of course he shot and killed them all, but to know more details in the case, I kind of want to know how gruesome he was with the shootings. Where did he shoot him at and how many times? I feel like that should go towards the sentencing, even though it's probably not going to make a difference. He's probably never going to see light of day again, but still, I mean, just just see the whole case, you know what I'm saying? Dissect the whole case. But if y'all like this, let me know. See what which more cases we can react to. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. And we out to the next one, gang.